Oh no, it's a ghost!
It's getting scary and dark outside this season. Watch out, there's something behind you!
No!
Brayden, no! Oh. You're coming back to life as a zombie for our best episode yet. The nerd shit in the
That's right.
dark Halloween special.
It's a great zombie impression.
I'm a zombie now. I'm a zombie guy.
Zombie Brayden for the whole episode.
Zombie Brayden.
Zombie Brayden.
Brad.
What a development.
What a development. Welcome, shitters.
Welcome.
As you've heard, we are doing the Halloween special of Nerd Shit in the Dark this week.
This spooky
season
season of October.
Yeah, and tell them about what's going on this episode, Brayden.
So this episode, we have, first off, 2 special guest stars. Well, 3 special guest stars if we want to include Miranda, but she's...
Yeah, Manager Miranda is on the show today.
Yeah. Yes, officially. She's
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone knows and loves Miranda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But let's have our 2 new guests introduce themselves.
Yeah.
Go ahead, guys.
Oh, it's us.
It's Spooky Sam.
We're doing the spooky thing.
It's Spooky Sam.
So it's Spooky Sam and Killer.
It's Killer Kai over here.
Killer Kai.
I'm so delighted to be invited
I'm
to this spooky podcast that you have here.
I'm very tickled to be watching you guys just do your thing, like in real time.
It is kind of fun, yeah.
There's a certain
There's
magic
a whole
to it.
performance element going on. If the viewers could see what just happened, I think that they'd be a little spooked.
I know I am.
Yeah.
Ray actually came back from the dead. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It didn't sound like what was actually happening, but
I pissed my pants. The pants are wet.
Yeah, I see it.
I didn't
was
bring
wondering
I didn't
what
bring
that
a
wet
chain.
spot on the
hissing
couch
sound
there
effect
was.
here.
So that's cool. That's cool. It really gets us in that
thanks
thing.
for inviting us on. I'm excited to be watching some scary movies with you guys.
Yeah. That is the plan. So for today's episode, for everyone just jumping in, we have picked out 4 horror
Quattro.
horror movies of all different kind of genres that we are going to be watching live on the show and then reviewing as we finish them up. So you'll get our immediate reaction to each movie.
Yeah, raw and uncut.
Mm-hmm. So
Well, we're not watching either of those.
No. I would like to say that horror movies are kind of like my Star Wars.
Okay.
And, sometimes you guys are doing things that I can't quite follow, but here I feel like
This is
I
your-
follow and it follows.
Ooh.
Very good. This
Yeah.
is very much your
Segue there for
forte.
you.
Should we announce what movies we're doing
Yeah,
up,
you
up
actually,
front then?
I forget what they are. I know the one, but
Yeah, it's I don't remember the order we picked, but It Follows.
It follows.
Is that the starter, or
I think
should it go second?
We're
'cause
trying
It
to
Follows?
cover a couple different subgenres within the genre, which I think is important. I think we're doing It Follows, Fright Night, which is like an 80s kind of corny practical effects movie.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing Tucker and Dale versus Evil, modern day comedy horror classic.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're ending it, hopefully, after the sun goes down with Terrifier.
Which I've never even
Terrifier.
heard of.
I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of it?
No,
Sounds
Sam texted me this week about it, and I
terrifying.
was like, he seems pretty adamant
This
about
guy,
This is going to be a great intro for you guys then.
it. Cool.
he's going to be your modern day Freddy Krueger, I swear. 50 years from now, you're still going to be talking about
Oh,
Terrifier.
okay.
Already
Yeah, that's the
spooked.
thing. I don't know. I haven't even watched the trailer. I don't know.
Already
And
got
This is
things
best.
bumps.
This is best. Go in blind.
I like going in
I
blind.
do like
this is
going in,
best.
but I feel that way about at least 2 of the 4 because I don't know much about It Follows either.
Yeah.
I've seen the remake of Fright Night, but I've never seen the real one.
I've never seen Fright Night. I've never seen Terrifier.
For the viewing audience at home, Jace just pointed to our Fright Night poster, which is so graciously displayed above our television
yeah.
set.
That's true. We got a nice.
We have quite a
Good date,
collection
yeah.
of horror memorabilia.
Yeah, it's all horror themed. I
You
love
guys
it.
have
The
this
setting is
kind of
appropriate.
decked out for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we hadn't gotten a call, I would have been a bit offended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had been planning for a while because we have been planning this episode for about a month now, and
Yeah.
what we were going to do for it. And we should get guests involved.
This was
We needed more people for
big
a movie
episodes like
marathon.
this needs a guest needs
you need-
And
good
we're
guest stars.
flattered.
Otherwise, it's just the 3 of us sitting in a room watching movies,
Right, and
which
now
is
in-
fine.
No, it's just the 5 of us, and it's just gonna be just the chillest,
Just the
day.
chillest time.
So-
So what's new in your nerd lives?
Yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
into new nerd shit then.
that was a great segue.
yeah. We probably should get moving along. Braden, I like when you start with yours.
Yeah, so I've actually been looking forward to new nerd shit for a while because I have a variety of new nerd shit stuff I've been focusing on, but the main new nerd shit, which is the one I'm gonna talk about, is the one that it's like a new series I've fallen in love with, and by series I mean manga. But have we ever heard of the manga called Kingdom?
I'm in the dark on this one.
I'd have to look. It sounds familiar.
Sell us on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
I'm gonna Google it.
it's almost like I guess thematically wise, like Dark One Piece, where like the main character's goal. So it takes place in like the Warring States period, which was like around 400 BC in China, and the main character wants to become a great general of the heavens. He's like a slave boy, but he wants to join the army and like work his way up and become like a great general. So it's kind of like
rags to riches story.
Yeah, it's kind of like One Piece in that sense, where like the character has this big dream. He's like there's like a slow progression towards that dream where he like gets more and more higher ranked. But it's really good. It's very it's very gory in a sense. Like it doesn't shy away from. It's all about like the horrors of war, pretty much, because during this Warring States period in China, there are 6 different states within China that are all fighting for supremacy, and so there's just constant wars and land grabs and battles after battles, town sackings, all of that. So the main character teams up with the king of Qin, which is one of the 6 states. And the king's dream is to unite all of China under one banner and end the Warring States period, which would stop, at least see things stop warfare and stop like all the suffering.
Is this also historically accurate as well? Like it uses like real historical events?
Yes.
Cool.
So that
I like that in manga.
So yeah, it's
like Vinland Saga.
I didn't like it's very it's like Vinland Saga and One Piece morphed together. But this is like more so what I wanted Vinland Saga to be like, because in Vinland Saga there's kind of like a change
after the first,
through, where it's not really like a
battle thing
like
anymore.
A battle thing anymore. It's like a character drip, which is fine. It's still good.
Yeah.
But like this one,
they're not looking for peace anymore.
Right. This one fully commits to the idea of like we need to unite the realms through warfare, pretty much, and I need to become a general. And that's not to say that they don't like reflect on war or like what they're doing and like. Because they go full in on like showing atrocities and murder, slaughter, massacres,
just like today's theme.
Right, right. And so it's very dark in that sense, but it still has like that shonen manga energy kind of, and like it's regular battles, but like the characters are like anime characters, where like they can blow a bunch of people away with one hit, or they can be really fast.
Is there an anime or is it just manga?
So there's.
You've been reading it.
There's nearly 800 chapters.
I just saw that there's almost 70 volumes.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's actually an anime. I haven't seen references to an anime anymore, but I honestly just been focused on reading it.
Yeah.
So I haven't really been looking into that. But yeah, it took me like I knew it was like based off of real historical events, but it took me a while to even realize that like the main character is also a historical character, because you don't actually find out who he is, because he's a slave, so he doesn't have like a family name until later. But once he gets his family name, I looked him up and he was like a real general during this time. Now, obviously, there's a lot of embellishments and stuff that they changed.
Right, it's old enough that you could.
Right,
like
to make it anime, but the main character is based off of a real general during this period.
How far of it have you gotten in?
I'm over 700 chapters in.
Wow, you're almost caught up.
Yeah, I started.
Is it finished or is it?
No, it's still ongoing.
Don't they always these things?
Yeah, well, like it's really cool because
it's like a One Piece.
It like follows the story over time. So we start off with the main character. He's like 13 years old, and currently where I'm at, he's like 25 or something. But like you see, like each year his progression, and like it's a big deal whenever he goes up in rank, because he gets more men under his control, and he gets like special units and stuff that are under his control, and like characters through his army and stuff that you get to meet. So it's a really cool progression, and like I said, it doesn't shy away from showing the horrors of warfare. It doesn't glorify war or anything like that, but it does try and show their motivations of like the reason why they're kind of going all in on this war is because this period of time in China, the Warring States period, has been ongoing for 500 years. at this point. And so they're like, yeah, we need to
And I thought Afghanistan went on for a while.
Right. So they're like, we need to dominate them through military might and finally unite the six kingdoms under one rule to stop all this.
What are you reading it on?
Just online.
It's not like Shonen Jump or anything?
There's a bunch of websites just dedicated to displaying chapters from it. So
I might have to look into this. It sounds kind of cool.
You would enjoy it. It's fair, and like the artwork is beautiful. Like people regularly get cut in half, or like heads bashed in, or fingers sliced off. Like
nice. I'm so excited for these movies.
You're
only making me.
Yeah. Well, like it's cool because it's like regular historical events, but it's just animeized, where there's these big generals that are like will just carry like a huge mace and like smash through a whole line of guys.
I dig that.
Yeah.
Just like Rurouni Kenshin's, just like Vinland Saga.
Yeah. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's one of my new favorite series. I've been reading it nonstop.
When did you start it? Just in between
a couple weeks ago, and so I'm 700 chapters in. So
that's pretty impressive.
I've been reading a lot of chapters in a row. And that's another thing is like
regular 16-page chapter.
Yeah, regular 16-page chapter. Very clean artwork. Very well done. Like it takes us a second to get used to the art style, but it's very well done. Very well. Like you can tell everything that's going on in the action, which
I like that.
You can't all the time in other series.
One Piece specifically.
So that's cool. And every arc that I've gone through is not missed so far. Like how like One Piece has low arcs or like like so far every arc has been like, yeah, this was a good arc. Yeah.
Does it go like up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as he rises in the ranks, like the battles get bigger. So Kingdom, yeah.
Check that out.
You will.
Can I piggyback off that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Before you guys get into your nerd shit.
We're going next, so.
Well, I want to discuss just a similar manga series I've been reading for a short while now. It's only 13 books, much, much shorter. It's called Dungeon Meshi.
Ooh.
Or the English translation is Delicious in Dungeon. It's about a party of adventurers who go down into a dungeon to get the treasure or whatever. And the whole concept is to keep themselves healthy and to survive on low money and low rations. They learn to eat and prepare the environments and the creatures that they find in the dungeon. From like walking mushrooms to killing eventually a giant dragon and making dragon bone soup. And it's just really, really cool the way they do it.
Do you have physical copies of this? You've shown me these. You've shown me these before. This sounds very familiar. Yeah. I remember when you got, I think, the first couple of them. Broke a couple
monsters,
of them.
Which is also...
It's also kind of on par for Halloween. I'm going to pass this around so the class can see.
So it's like...
Dungeon Meshi.
Dungeon Meshi it's very D&D inspired. They do the little presentation of the meals at each end of each chapter too, where it's like, this is what they made, this is what they used, this is the stat bonuses it gives you.
That's weird. So it's like a food manga based off of a dungeon manga.
Exactly, a dungeon crawling. And it's only 13 books. I just ordered the last 3 off Amazon because the final book was just released. And they are making an anime. I don't know if there's a slated release date, but it's very cute, but also tackles themes of using your surroundings to your benefit and keeping your environment healthy and, being somebody who doesn't overexploit the resources available to you either. So
that's such a cool thing to make a story about.
And Miranda just said that
our work is kind of like Full Metal Up.
Very much like that.
So super cute and funny too. Like the main character is so excited to eat these monsters. Like he has a weird fascination with them. Like he's excited to eat the squid tentacles.
It's like he's cataloging it as he goes. He's like, I wonder what this tastes.
Yeah.
So is he like a chef? Is he?
He's a knight.
Yeah.
He's a knight with a really special interest in monsters. Yeah.
Well, in the most wholesome way possible. It's super cute.
So that's my mini nerd shit for you. I would highly recommend anybody pick up Dungeon Meshi wherever you can find it. I'm sure you can read it online.
It's a good quality book. I like the feel.
I'm definitely gonna look into that.
Let me know if you want me to lend them to you.
Yeah, I can get them at the Barnes and Noble just for reference.
One of my favorite places to shop, Barnes and Nobles. Sponsored
True.
by.
You take me there all the time.
I take you there all the time.
Allegedly.
One time we went in 2 in one day.
Yeah, 2 different Barnes and Nobles in the same day. It was a great.
Were they
day.
different?
They are different.
yeah,
The
they're all
State
different.
College one has better books. The Altoona one has better toys.
The collectible section, you always gotta hit that.
Yeah. And the books are about the same. Honestly, the book sections are probably the same, and the Altoona one just has better toys to look at. And I wanted to look at toys. So that's it. So that's cool. Is that your new nurture, or was that just something you wanted to throw
That's
in?
just what I wanted to bring, and I only bring it up because I just ordered the final 3 books off Amazon. They just released the 13th book, which is the final one.
Oh wow! So it's
haven't gotten a chance
pretty
to
new.
read it yet, but yeah, and like I said, there's an anime coming out, so I haven't picked it up for play the past month, but I would recommend it to anybody.
It was like a year ago when you first showed me that you bought those, so I'm glad
I would
you
recommend it to
you got
anybody,
so
yeah.
into it you kept.
I just bought the last 3, and it's an easy one to kind of go through, in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I like
I'll
some
pick
that
it
are
up
that
after
are
I'm done with
shorter.
Kingdom.
Yeah. Cool. So do you want to do any new nerd shit? Kai, do you want to do any new nerd shit?
I don't really have any new nerd shit myself, but I'm hearing really good reviews for the new Saw movie.
Ooh.
Are you guys Saw fans at all?
I've only seen a couple of them.
I know they're all bad.
Those are the
all
ones
not
movies
good.
that spook me out. 'Cause
Notoriously.
I'm not like scared of them, but like I am always just like
Grossed
"Ugh,
out.
What are they gonna do? What are they
Yeah.
gonna do to this person? And I don't want to see it.
Boy,
I saw the one with the pig. Like there was like a pig.
yeah, that's an
butchering
ongoing
or something.
thing.
Okay, so it happens a lot.
The big thing with this new one, I think, is that Jigsaw himself, while he's trying to cure his cancer, is now the victim of a scam because he goes against people who are like being.
He has his own weird moral code.
He has a weird moral code, but then he gets scammed by somebody who says they can cure his cancer. So now he's the victim. So now he's your protagonist. And I heard it's really good.
What a fun twist.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting take. Yeah.
After 10 movies of absolutely nothing happening.
Well, at this point, he's so competent. I'm just gonna root for this for him anyways.
He's got to know what he's doing at this point,
Yeah.
right? Jeez.
He's
keeps getting away with it.
You have
Yeah.
10 movies, you gotta know what you're doing.
You're right.
Or what's this one called?
Saw X, Saw 10.
Oh, okay, so it is
Saw X, milking it.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, fuck.
He hasn't been lost in New York, though, so we might
That's
get an
true.
11th
We're waiting
movie.
for that.
Torturing people on the streets.
And then in space, maybe.
Ooh, I mean, that's what the Fast and
I'm throwing
Furious
out these
did.
ideas, you know.
Yeah. Get the
No, that's my-
the producers on the phone.
When did that come out? That's relatively
New.
That's still out, I think.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna recommend we go see a movie for this too, but then I was like, we'll just stay at home.
This is chill. I like this.
These movies will be better than anything anyway.
Yeah.
So, for our new nerd shit, kind of. So on the filler episode, I talked about Castlevania Nocturne, which I started playing Symphony of the Night, and so kind of piggybacking off of that, Miranda and I started the original Castlevania again. Because
Hell yes.
I had said how me and Braden had watched the first season of the first series, and we were on mushrooms,
And it sets it up so
it was kind of
beautifully,
like a
doesn't
fever
it?
dream.
It just sets you up for this awesome thing that it's going to hopefully deliver on.
Yeah, because I really liked Nocturne. We watched that, and I liked it quite a bit. That's the new one.
I wasn't aware that was actually out.
It came
so-
out, yeah. It's got eight episodes, and we watched it last week. But so we decided to go back and watch Castlevania, the original series. And along with that, I finished Symphony of Night, the game, and I have now played through Aria of Sorrow, and I'm currently playing and finishing through Dawn of Sorrow. So I'm going to talk about kind of all that stuff at once. So let's talk about the anime first, because that's something we can both talk about. The video game I'm strictly playing, but things I like a lot about the original series. Well, you said it. I'll let you take over. What
Have
are
Aw,
you?
why
Did
don't
you
you put me
finish
on the
it?
spot?
Did you finish the whole series?
just the first 2 seasons?
Oh,
So we
okay.
have to watch 3 and 4 still.
Yeah, there are
Alright.
a whole
I know.
2 more.
I know.
Yeah,
I
okay.
wanted to get through all of it before today, but we just lost time.
If I'm remembering right, the second season, I don't know where it ends off at, but
they had just killed spoilers.
yes.
They had
Spoilers.
killed Dracula.
Yeah, okay.
And then like
For the
other
first time.
other pieces are being
Right.
set up. Okay, I wasn't
That's
sure.
what everyone says.
The Vampire Coven is especially cool to me in that season with the Nordic vampire, like Godbrand.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Just how much I hate God Brandon.
Oh yeah,
I'm
he's
so glad
a
he dies.
bitch.
He dies pretty. He dies pretty quick too. I was worried. I was like, "Is this guy gonna be around a while?"
He's a bitch,
And
but I
that,
love all their different personality types.
that
and the way
ex-slave
they-
dude just fucking wrecks him. And it's like, oh, thank Christ that guy died.
Isaac.
Oh
Yeah, everybody's
Isaac.
voiced really well. The one difference that I think I've noticed about between Nocturne, because a lot of people are like shitting on Nocturne for
Who is the main character in Nocturne? Like, who's
Richter.
it about? Richter.
Richter Belmont.
And we haven't seen Richter at all. This is completely
He's like a
separate.
main guy in like the video games, but he's not.
It's a separate
Nocturne took place
timeline.
300 years later.
Okay.
So that's why like I googled. I was like, do I need to watch all of the old Castlevania to understand the new one? Like, no. But now we're going.
Should.
But you should
But you
because there is a
should.
tie into it at the very end of the first
The
season.
action
for sure.
sequences alone are so.
Dude, the
cool.
action okay, that's
so
Castlevania,
fucking cool.
the
Her ice
original stuff,
powers, like
They're so fun.
I will say
I
though,
love the gruesome goriness.
yeah, like the
The town strung up with intestines.
Shy away from it.
the old series is definitely more graphic.
Way more
like they tone it. But I will say this, and I said this on the last episode when I was talking about Nocturne. I think the animation is when the action scenes take place are way better in Nocturne. Like they definitely up the
Really?
budget and like you saw Guardians 3.
Yeah.
You know the action scene at the end with like all the Guardians
That,
fighting in
like
that scene.
one
Yeah.
fake
And it just
one
looks
take.
fucking awesome.
It's not a one take, but they
it
make it
is.
look like a one
Yeah,
take. Yeah.
All of Castlevania Nocturne's fight scenes look like that and just awesome and well
cool.
put together. So like that's where it's
Which
winning.
I thought the fight scenes in the original Castlevania were
and they do.
a strong
They
suit
do
of
still
that.
look good, but you can tell like I watched
There's a
that one
difference.
first.
Wasn't there like a jarring
there's
difference between like season
certainly a
1 and
difference.
season 2 when they knew it was going to be a show? Didn't the quality up?
I
Or am I
would say
misremembering?
probably. There's only 4 episodes in there, maybe even
Right.
6. I know it was a little in the first season. There was like 4
Yeah.
episodes,
By
but
season 4, you're getting really cool
there is
stuff.
more slow and steady and character time that you have with the first series where like because the first 8 episodes of the new series it did seem like it was like boom 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 episodes flew. This one, the original series, I like that it's a little slower. You're getting to know the characters. I love that it is focused on
Character dynamic is so.
the character dynamic is fun, but I love that it focuses on the villains more. I think that when Braden and I first watched the first season, I really loved the first episode. It was just like, here's your whole episode on why Dracula is the bad guy. And the whole show just continues to be like
showing the motivation.
80% is what the bad guys are up to.
Yeah.
And then like 20% goes to like what Alucard and
The
Trevor
throuple.
are what they're doing.
For real though.
They're so cute.
So that was fun. I do think like it's a show that maybe like because we binged it, like I don't really buy into Trevor and what's the girl's name, the steer?
Yeah, Sypha.
Syph. I don't really buy into their romance already. Like the show wants me to buy into that romance
you guys,
already.
You noticed our figurines up top,
And
right?
I did. I saw
there,
Trevor.
too.
Yeah. So you're big fans. And I'm becoming a big fan. We are gonna clear the final 2 seasons probably this week.
It's just so worth it. It's so worth it.
Because I've heard that it only gets better. and-
Alucard can only get sadder, you know?
Mhm.
Sad
Yeah, I
boy.
mean, where
Eyes out.
we're at, Alucard is, that's how the episode ends, is him just sitting in his chair crying because he just killed his dad. Apparently for the first time.
we all go
What a
through
fun.
it.
What a
Everyone
fun
knows
little
that
battle
pain.
scene that was too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dracula
the way
just
they
be
all
like,
3 had to team up to just like get all up in his face.
Because they're in a fucking library the whole second season. That's another thing I didn't like. I was like, man, they're just in this one.
Well, it's the whole
spot
lead up.
the whole
You know, they
time.
have to escape from the basement,
Yeah.
fight their way to the surface, and then fight their way through Dracula's castle.
But that's 2 episodes
Well,
that that's
isn't that,
happening.
so
isn't that very
awesome.
much
And
like
then
the
they
video
play
game that they're
the
trying to
theme
make it
song.
like
which I'm going to
Yeah.
get to.
right?
Thank you for reigniting just exactly how much I fucking love.
You should
that
watch
TV
the new
show.
one. I think you'll
I
like the new
will.
one.
I'm
It's
going
8
to.
quick episodes. And like, do you know a lot about like the video game lore?
Never played the video games.
Only so much.
So that's the thing. I saw a lot of people bitching that were like real big fan because apparently there's a character in Nocturne. I'm repeating myself, but they made her black and she's not black in the original series, and a lot
Get
of people.
over it.
Yeah, exactly. So like that didn't matter to me. The things like that didn't bother me. Now the video games that I played. So I played Symphony of the Night, which I talked about in the filler episode, but it's known as like the most popular, like best of the Castlevania games. It came out on PlayStation 1 in 1997 or 8.
3D.
Not 3D, side scroll. They're mostly Metroidvania style side scroller game. I liked it. I had a good time. It took me about a week to play it. I had a blast. It was fun. It was challenging. But I really want to talk about the Aria of Sorrow and Dawn of Sorrow games, because I find those to be kind of like spiritual successors to Symphony of the Night, kind of, because it really improved upon everything they set up in that one. So in Symphony of the Night, you play as Alucard. Usually in Castlevania games, up till that point, you played as a Belmont, a guy with a whip, and you just ran through the castles and solved your way through, yada, yada, yada. Symphony of the Night lets you play as Alucard, so you're a vampire, so you can like gain abilities, do spells, equip stuff. I feel like it's one of the earliest types of like RPG style type of side scrollers like that, because like you had to equip something into your right hand, equip something into your left hand, set your your helmet, your pants. If you wanted to use a potion, you had to set a potion in your one hand to use it, which I did not like that feature. They got rid of that in Aria of Sorrow. Aria of Sorrow is a Game Boy Advance game. So I bought it for the Switch. There's a whole Advance collection. And I fucking loved this game. And I beat it in a day. Like I started it one day and just fucking played it nonstop. And it's the functions are really cool because it keeps that like RPG styles type of like you set equipment on yourself, but you can just hit potions. You don't have to fucking equip into your hands. But
one of the quality of life changes.
Yes. And you play as a character. His name is Soma. The game takes place in 2035, and what Soma is the reincarnation, he doesn't know it at the beginning of the game, of Dracula. So he also has the ability. You kill demons and you'll like get their ability. Kind of like Mega Man, and you can stash them onto yourselves. Like there's like abilities that you use your up A with, where like you can grow a manticore tail and that tail will attack the bad guys, or like throw swords or something. And then like I beat this rock guy and like his ability was like up your strength if you equipped that. Yeah, and you had 3 sections to do those different kinds, and I just really love that because it gives you this. And there's a lot of abilities, so you can play the game just multiple different ways, equipping
classing yourself a different way each time.
Throughout the whole thing. And like I said, it's Metroidvania, so like you go so far, you're constantly going back and forth to your map to see like, where did I go that I couldn't get through before, but now that I have this new ability, I can go and get through that.
Are any of these Castlevania games known for having multiple endings?
Yes, they are, dude. That was the thing with Aria of Sorrow that I had to actually look into. Because like, and same with Symphony of the Night, like I beat it, and it was like, I killed Richter, and I was like, that's a really weird ending, like credits rolled. And then I looked into it, and it was like, oh no, you have to like go to the reverse castle and do like a whole half of the game. Right, and like, then Aria of Sorrow had the same thing, and then you had to have a certain set of like abilities when you beat the final boss to go to the 3 extra bosses.
The final bosses.
The final bosses.
Holy shit.
And like, I probably only, it's a Game Boy Advance game, it's about 8 hours, but it is so fun just like going back and forth, and you're constantly pulling up your map and yada, yada, yada. So now I'm playing Dawn of Sorrows, the sequel. I always love a good sequel that like really improves upon like the predecessor. Like some games you'll get a sequel and it's the same game, or they added like 1 or 2 extra functions. I like the shit that it's like Ori. Have you ever played Ori? The Ori
Will of the something?
That's the sequel, Will of the Wisp, which I think is it did the same thing. Like
first game's Blind Forest, I think.
Yes. And that game's awesome, but like the things they added to the sequel were just so fucking awesome, and like it improved it. And that's what I feel like Dawn of Sorrow did. I got this fucking game when I was in the 8th grade, and I beat it then. I didn't know anything about Castlevania, and now I'm like replaying it with I didn't play the Aria of Sorrow, so I never played the prequel to it. Really awesome. I have only one complaint about it, but I'll get to that at the end. But like, so the graphics are better. It's on the DS instead of the Game Boy Advance. So that seeing all those like character models just a little crisper looking of all the enemies. Another thing, the enemies and the castle designs in these games, fucking awesome. What a good time. But like one of the features they added was like in the original one, you just had that one set that you could have of abilities. It allows you to hit the X button to like have another set. So like you don't have to constantly go into your menu to like fuck around.
Little shit.
Another thing that I love, oh my god, the DS. So like the thing I hated about Symphony of the Night and Aria of Sorrow is I was constantly going to my map, because they wouldn't bring up there was no little map on the side like most games. So you're constantly going back and forth with the map. The DS with its dual screen on the top screen is your map constantly, and I was just like, thank fucking Christ. I hate how much time I waste going back and forth between the map. So like, great feature on the DS. Great feature. Yeah, Castlevanias are fucking fun. I've played 3 in about a week and a half.
I didn't know they were that short of games.
Yeah, they're not super long. Like
They
they're
can be difficult, right?
like Symphony of the Night took me about 12 hours wise.
Yeah.
Like I said, RSR, I binged it, but I beat it in a day. Dawn of Sorrows I've been playing for a couple days now. The only feature I don't like about Dawn of Sorrows is another DS thing. So every time they added this function where you draw like symbols. Like if you want to open a gate, you unlock a magic symbol and you draw the symbol, whatever. But you also get certain bosses that when you beat them, you have to draw the symbol. And if you don't draw it right, or if the game thinks you didn't draw it right, it smashes and you have to fight the boss even longer. And the bosses are not easy bosses. So like just this morning, I drew this thing and I fucked it up like 5 times. And I was like, how many times do I gotta keep? I don't have enough potions. I'm gonna fucking die. And it's just like, this
if
is
I
how
beat a boss, I want to beat it.
Yeah, I don't want to draw a fucking pentagram correctly on my fucking 10-year-old DS to hope to God that it works. So I don't like that. But other than that, it's I think so far I'm liking it more than
Did you say
Aria of
you
Sorrow.
bought that on an advanced collection on
So,
Switch?
yeah,
Do they
on
have
the
it on
Switch-
like the e-store.
Yes, it's only $20 and it has all the Game Boy Advance ones. And Aria of Sorrow is one of them, but there's 2 other ones that you play as a Belmont, I think. There's only a couple where you actually play as like a vampire.
All right. Well, I know what I'm doing with my next.
Do it, man. They're fun
Several.
bugging games. And like now I'm like inspired to keep playing more Castlevania games.
Yeah. I've never played a Castlevania game.
They're fun.
I can't believe there's so many.
There's a fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been coming out since the Nintendo. Like the first one's on.
Well, I
Nintendo.
remember when we were first gonna watch the series, and you were like, "Oh, you want to watch Castlevania?" And yeah, and I'm like, "Yeah, what's that?" And you're like, "You mean you've never played any of the games?" And I was like, "There's games."
Yeah.
Richter's in Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah. I
Oh
was like,
God!
"Oh,
The
this
thing
is
is,
the
I'm
guy."
not even a
guy.
big fan of Castlevania. I mean, I'm not like the hugest, but I remember I rode my bike from my house to Walmart to get Dawn of Sorrows for my DS when I was in like the 8th grade. So there was something in the Nintendo Power magazine
That's a
that was
hell
like,
of a hike, by the way.
Yeah,
You're not
it's-
from
it's-
Jersey.
yeah.
That's a hell of a
it
hike.
sure fucking was, man. And, it's funny because on the save file, you like wrote your name for the save, and I made my name Soma. I'm like, oh, 13-year-old me wrote Soma.
Badass.
All right, yeah. I wrote Sea Dog. I'm a changed man.
More mature.
I'm an adult.
Yeah. It's just the
gonna
name
be
of
a
the
dad.
profile, not the name of the character.
It's just the name of Corey Feldman's Instagram.
So that's
Allegedly.
that's my new nerd shit. I could probably go into those games a lot more.
You can make a whole episode about Castlevania with how much energy you were displaying
Yeah.
just now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm saying
Happy
I gotta
Halloween.
take notes. I gotta take notes.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Should we get into the movie watching segment?
Just if there's anything else that anybody has to say,
No.
That was telling.
Say, let's watch.
let's watch the
We're
movies.
gonna
All
watch
right,
the movies.
everybody.
Let's get into
so
it.
we're about to get started on which one did we decide to
It
watch?
Follows.
It Follows.
Yes.
So our
Do
review.
you know anything about It Follows?
I don't know anything other than what you've told me about it.
What have I told you
the
about it?
STD.
Well,
There's like an STD.
Well,
that-
we can get into that in the later
I want
discussion.
to preface before we start the movie, since some of us have seen it and some of us
That's
have
true.
not.
Yeah.
It's from like 2014. It's like a newer movie. It's an interesting talking point about this movie is I'm curious to see what you guys think the message is.
Yes.
Because it feels like it's trying to say something, and I have a controversial opinion, which I'll get into later, but it's very, I don't know.
Metaphor.
I've
We
watched-
love
I've watched,
controversy
like-
here at Nerd
Yeah,
Shit in
I've
the
watched
Dark.
YouTube videos trying to unpack what they think the message is.
It's
of
still
It
not
Follows.
clear.
It's not clear.
But
but
it is a well
Is it like the
shot film.
top
It's a well
spinning
shot-
in Inception?
Yeah, it's one of those movies where it's like they
It
leave a
leaves
lot
you
to
with a hanging
interpretation.
chad.
There's a lot of symbolism going on. There's a lot of just like trying to find your own interpretation of it. And I guarantee whatever message you think it has, someone's gonna say no.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That's my whole life. That's everything. I'm a Star Wars fan. I know what that's like.
This is definitely probably the most art filmiest of
Yes.
our selections for the
So we're gonna jump on. We're gonna jump off. Watch It Follows, and then I mean you're not gonna notice it, but when we come back from this, you'll hear our opinion. So we just finished It Follows.
Spooky.
Yeah, that was something. How do we want to approach this, gang?
Okay, so what do you guys think that it was about?
Yeah, what do you think it was about?
stroke over here, guys.
Technical difficulties.
No, I'm just an idiot.
Are we restart?
No, go ahead.
oh,
I'm
okay.
just falling on the ground.
You're just
Just
It
like
follows.
just like it follows
It followed.
on the ground as
Go
well,
ahead.
just like that
I-
does.
Initial takeaway, I think that to its detriment, it was too convoluted.
Here's the thing. I don't think it was really convoluted at all. It just had a convoluted ending. It just was like,
It had a convoluted.
we don't know how to
event.
answer any of
didn't
this.
end.
It didn't end.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
there was nothing
exactly.
going on
But I
throughout it
guess
that I wasn't
That's
like,
what you can say
"Oh."
that the point is that it's never going to go away, no matter how much you try to allow it to. And it also kind of tackles the morality of, okay, I have this thing. Do I choose to be selfish with it and give it to others to share my struggles with, or do I just bear the burden forever? Which I think is also an interesting take on like STDs and the manner in which they address them.
So I think it's from my point of view, I think it's easy to say that, yes, it's, about you sleep with somebody, you pass it on, it's an STD, sure. But to me, that's less of the actual, I think that's taking almost the plot of the film too literally. I think, truthfully, this is about carrying baggage with you. And I think it's about who you choose to let into your life and help you carry that baggage, which is by, spoiler alert, obviously, by the ending, you see the two of them walking hand in hand. This is just kind of an acceptance of, hey, whatever it is, we're just going to keep moving. You and me together, we're just going to keep moving through all of this. So I don't know. I think it's easy to look at it that way, but, obviously they try to go really ham-fisted with some of the metaphors too. So
I'm glad you saw this movie before, so you have had time to think those feelings out.
a little bit.
Because that is not remotely where I'm at with the movie
Really?
yet.
Where are you at with
Where am I at with the movie? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to describe
both of you at?
the movie to the people listening. So it follows it. The story was a movie about a girl that had sex with this guy, and I guess this guy was already was cursed by this curse in this movie.
And it is a monster.
And
It's definitely a monster.
and it's a monster
a demon or something
that you see when you have sex with somebody that comes
A shape-shifting
and
monster.
kills you. And
Not everyone sees it, but it can affect the environment around it.
Yes, it's we've determined it's physically there still.
What's the matter, zombie
Yeah.
Braden? You got a maggot in your throat?
I don't know. Where am I at with it right now? I don't know. I think
I think a lot of the setup for this film kind of gets you into that mind state of, it's like, oh, okay, so the rules are you have to have sex to pass it on, right?
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I think
definitely.
taking it a little bit more away from that angle, you can just view it as like, okay, well, you have to engage and like share yourself with somebody, and that can be something that a lot of the times it's this fleeting moment, so it's like you settle down and you live with it and you sit with it and you carry it with you for a while instead of just trying to outrun it all the time.
You can choose to tackle the hard things together, or you can run alone forever. I don't know.
See, no. What you're saying is really, really good. It's really good, and I don't disagree with where you come to with that. What I mean by I'm not
Your
there
initial
yet.
take-
I
your
haven't
initial take off
gotten
this
that
movie was
deep
just like-
into it. So where I'm at with the movie, it is just face value what it was. I
Right.
didn't throughout none of that did I even start to postulate what the meaning behind any of it was until the end, where I was like, "What the fuck?" It did a what the fuck ending. Like, oh, there is no ending, and I went, "Oh, what the fuck." But I mean, I liked it. I just don't think I have had the like what you both just said. You're not telling me the first time you watched it, your head was like, yes,
No.
this is what it's a metaphor
Stylistically,
for.
I was distracted by it because there's lots of good
Right.
shots. There's lots of good music in it.
Sure.
I want to know where Braden's at with this movie.
Yeah, Braden likes this
Oh
movie a
yeah,
lot.
so
Just brain strikes.
I did watch a YouTube video one time that kind of informed what my current perspective of the movie is right now, because they made a lot of good points about like the central themes of the movie, because this movie oftentimes can be interpreted as like, a STD film of like, be careful with who you have sex with, or like, just be aware of the consequences of sex. But like that could be like a surface explanation, but underneath that it's more so about like loss of innocence. Because like there's a lot of scenes in the movie where people are like, where like the kids are like reminiscing about younger days. Like the guy that the guy she goes on a date with, like mentions that he would be a 9-year-old because he wants to be able to like see, like have the rest of his life ahead of him. And so like sex is like a big central theme in the movie because that's one of the things that causes a loss of innocence. But at the same time, it's not like what the movie is about. It's about like, also just to notice that like the entire movie is from the perspective of like kids or young people or people who are like on that precipice of like teenager to adulthood. And like adults are very sparse throughout this entire movie. Like if you notice, like her mom actually shows up several times and is mentioned, but do you
Just
remember
in the background?
do you remember any scenes where she was in?
I when they were watching the movie, the mom was sitting at the table, like
Yeah, and you
face
never
down.
see her face. You never see like there's slight mention to the father, but we don't know what happened to the father. But he's just like shows up in family albums, and like the form the ghost took at the end was her father. Like the guy throwing the
That was a good catch,
electronics
by
at
the
her.
way. I didn't get that the first time around.
Yeah, it's like one of those
See,
like
that's
blink
what
and
I
you
mean.
miss it type things, but like the guy that they show in the photo is the same guy who
Yeah, and
it comes at. And like her sister even says like, what does it look like? And she says, you don't want to know. So, because she didn't want to tell like that it's their dad, which I think I remember seeing something that like some people theorized their father like killed themselves or something, or some kind of gruesome.
Jesus Christ. See, that's
Did
what
he
I
jump
mean.
off
Yeah.
the roof
Yeah, some kind of gruesome end.
oh,
with
that
his
would
dick out?
Right. It might have been stark ass naked.
So what?
Dad, put your dick away.
What-
Saw Greg's
You kill
mom for
yourself.
sure.
Come on.
What then is maybe the purpose of all the water imagery and the water symbolism? I mean,
Yeah,
Baptism.
she's laying in the
Could be.
pool at the very beginning. The girl tries to escape into the lake, but she can't
She's
go
trying
any
to become
further.
pure again. She's trying to be reborn.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, that's one possible, interpretation. Yeah, I mean, like the sensation of like being in the womb, is like, the birth. But like being ripped from that, I guess, is like the original traumatic experience, right? So
If we want to get really analytical with it, I could
Freud
say
would have
like
a few things to say.
water is like the element of change because it can like constantly shift
cleansing
its,
and purifying.
shift its form, and like this monster is a shapeshifter, can constantly change its form, and the movie is also kind of about like the change from teenager to adulthood.
So it's
and, like,
kind of water as a safety net, but also water as like, it's like this hazardous thing,
right.
As in, what are you guys fucking talking about? Oh.
So it follows. Yeah, I really do appreciate the soundscape, and the tension building is really well.
I liked this movie. I don't know if it did anything special for me per se just yet. If it clearly I got a fucking milk on it.
Right.
I
Maybe
don't
watch a
see.
YouTube
I don't.
video or
I don't even
two.
particularly like this movie. I think that
Okay.
I don't. I
What
don't know why.
What did you think?
I just wish it had an ending,
Yeah.
or at least we could. There's too many like
I
what
wish
ifs.
that
one
we
of
could
those
happened
fully
next.
cure
open-ended
STDs.
endings where
man.
like nothing's
you like
really
it?
and
It
it
would
would
be
be solved.
Overall,
It was fine.
it was fine.
I like a
It
movie
was
with
fine.
with a bad, like not a bad ending, but a negative ending.
Open-ended
They
ending.
don't
I think
end
it's
up
more
happily ever after.
interesting if it doesn't end well.
Right.
But for some reason, this movie just didn't, tickle my spooky spot.
I think it sets a great
Yeah, I don't know
atmosphere,
if I
though.
was spooked.
It's a great
I was.
atmosphere.
It knows how to build
sus-
the
the
tension.
sus-
and
the
the
ambiance.
psychological tension.
suspension,
hugely.
suspense and tension definitely there, and I was into it. Like at least I was into it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was not scared by it. Though.
There were a couple moments
Uh,
where you saw the creature coming in the background, and
the
you were like,
tall-
"Oh
the
wait!"
tall-
Oh well, yeah, I was having
Yeah.
fun with it though. I was high and I was just doing like, oh my god,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
One other thing I wanted to bring up was, so you notice like the shell phone stuff.
Yes.
Do you notice how like it was kind of really hard to place down
Kind of a nebulous time
exactly
period,
what time
isn't it?
period
But
they're
old
living in?
furniture, old like
Old furniture.
games.
They're watching old movies on an old TV
Like
set.
it's not
the car
the
models
90s,
are old.
but it feels like it could be.
And she's
yet-
on a weird phone.
She's on a weird phone, which
It's
we're
weird
not
even
even
for
sure.
that time. I've never seen a shell phone.
Well, we're not even sure if that's a phone. She's reading off of the phone, but we never see anyone use
It
those
looks
to
like
make
a
calls.
compact mirror is what it looks like.
Right. Like
We're
there's
never given a specific date or anything. I mean, it is kind of, I think, left up to be like,
yeah, it's intentional.
kind of a capsule piece.
And I think, yeah, it's supposed to kind of like throw you off and make you a little uneasy of just like, you're not really sure exactly where this world is.
it's almost like Limbo.
But like, yeah, there's a lot of
What we need to do.
anachronisms.
We need
they
to
can
we need
call.
to find a way to figure out what movie they were going to see at the movie theater at the beginning. That could pinpoint when it was movies. You could just
there
be
was
like,
an organist.
it was during when How to
was
Train
an
the Dragon
organist.
2 was playing.
Well, that's the thing.
It's June of
supposed-
2014.
It's supposed to like not take place during any time period.
There was
like
an organist
Yeah.
that
It
was
was the
playing.
music.
What the
piece,
fuck was
yeah.
that about?
It was like
Like when you go see a lot
old
of
movie.
music.
Well,
Yeah.
old movie theaters used to do that because there wasn't
But
scores.
it seemed like they
so
were going
would
to like
live, they would live
a
score
movie
movies.
theater.
Yeah.
Until they got into it, and it was that guy. Yeah, that was weird.
They would live score movie theaters back in the day.
I don't
And
know,
that's
maybe
what that
this
was.
movie is
Behind
deeper
it.
than I gave it credit for.
yeah, it's a lot of like show don't tell.
On a second viewing, I definitely caught more than I did the first time around, and I appreciate it for that. And
That
Yeah.
your second view it just now was your second?
yes, yes. This was
Also,
the
my
second.
reading of the Greg character is way different this time around. I've seen this movie several times, but this time I was really like, oh yeah, Greg's kind of creepy.
Yeah, Greg was a
Yeah,
fuckboy.
he's washing his car right at the start. There's nothing creepier
Yeah,
than
like
a
you
man
can-
that washes his own car. I mean, come
Right.
on.
Shirtless though.
Like you can
That
definitely
was
tell
before they
if
had
he-
car
Staring at
washes.
teenagers.
he's kind of a player. He wants to have sex with these two sisters.
He had already had sex with one of them.
Which
we
I
find out
also-
later.
That was the first time I missed that. The first
he
few
kind of
features.
used this as an opportunity to get his means to an end, but it's like you're not willing to take on the baggage of the person you're sleeping with. You know, it's just going to end badly for you at the end.
You're gonna
I
die.
actually believe.
He ended her story. Yeah.
Mhm. He got killed by his mom, who was naked.
naked
Yeah.
and
One
they were
poop.
having sex.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's just like a lot of sexual undertones throughout the film.
You
like-
don't fucking say.
Right.
Wait, was this movie about sex?
Yeah, partially
Is that
about
what they were
sex.
doing? Were they having sex?
that
Is
what
that what
sex
sex
looks
was?
like?
Oh my god!
We even just,
What?
I did not get that at all.
Oh my god!
we even just like the
Ooh.
forms that the
looks
ghost
fun.
or the demon or
I thought
whatever
they were just
takes.
swimming
Like,
together.
it takes the form of like the little children who were spying on her.
I thought that's who
Oh,
that was.
That's who the
I
kid
thought
was.
that's
I was
who
like,
that
why
kid
is there a kid
was.
here?
Yeah, that was
There's
the
people that she knows.
that was the same kid that was spying on her throughout the so it's all
Wow.
connected.
Why was the ghost pissing itself?
It's another sex
But
thing,
really,
like a
though,
fetish.
weird.
That was not great.
Anyway,
But
Just,
she was-
just
I
that
think that
one
was like a,
scene. Just that one
prostitute.
scene.
Showing you that anyone can piss themselves.
Yes.
But
Even
everyone
scary
is also
monsters pee their pants, so don't worry, kids.
Even the scary monsters are peeing their pants.
Yeah. So that was There's a lot. There's a lot to take
Good.
in.
I'm glad we started with a real modern.
That was a fun one.
Right.
That was I had a fun
lots to
time.
unpack,
We had a
for
fun
sure.
time watching that.
You know, I know I thought about it for the first couple days after viewing it. I was just like, huh, okay.
I hope
But,
I do. I hope it doesn't get blocked
so-
out by these next 3 movies we're about to watch.
It follows that we would naturally want to follow that up with a funny one. You know, we would want to
Yeah.
lighten the mood a little.
All right.
What's next up on the list?
I believe we are doing Fright Night next.
Fright Night
is that
is
the next
next.
one?
Oh, I thought it
Nice.
was Tucker and Dale.
No, we're gonna do the gentle, then we're gonna do the really funny, and then we're gonna do the traumatic one.
Scary as fuck.
The scary
We
one.
end on a high
Scary,
note of
scary
scary.
I love it.
That was a fun thriller
That was a good. That was a good.
that had
spooky
scary vibes.
A nice way to wet our palates.
No,
Dip
no.
our toes.
thriller.
All right, so I guess that was good. We'll gear up. We'll
Yep.
get ready. We'll put on Fright Night, and we'll catch you guys when we start that. Any little shout outs before we go?
I love this movie a lot, you guys. This is one of those things that you put on and you're like watching your friends watch it, and you're like, I hope they don't hate me and they don't hate this. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, wait.
What?
Did you like it?
Yeah, I had a pretty good time with it.
I had a good time with it as well.
Fright Night, if anybody forgot, which you probably didn't, because we just transitioned to this.
It's a pretty
It was
special
something.
movie
It
for
was
us.
a very interesting movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember a whole lot from the remake, but it definitely shared certain elements from it that I thought was fun.
It's the whole classic. My neighbor's a vampire and nobody believes me.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
kind
And
of like
you
my
get
mom
why
has a
people
date with
don't
a
believe 'em.
vampire if you're a Disney Channel.
You totally get why nobody believes. He comes off, like
Fucking
I said while we
insane.
were watching it, even though I know he's not bullshitting anybody. I wouldn't believe this
He's
guy if I didn't know.
incapable of being descriptive enough so
Yeah.
that they believe him. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm crazy now. I'm gonna light 1,000 candles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Charlie is he's a mess.
So for
He had
people,
quite an arc.
He was at 100 the whole time.
He was.
Until
Odd
it
one.
mattered, and he was just like, "What do I do?"
And then Peter
Yeah.
Vincent's like, I gotta step up, I guess.
yeah, literally the whole movie.
Yeah, in the remake, they made Peter Vincent a magician instead to like
Yeah, I kind of.
make it modern, but it was David Tennant and it was just
Oh
wildly
wow,
different.
dude! I would need to rewatch that again because I didn't really.
McLovin was Evil Ed.
Right, he
Superbad.
was.
Yeah.
Fuck me, dude.
Evil Ed. What a character.
Evil Ed.
Yeah, I saw
he's
that in theaters.
just
10,
chewing up the
15
screen
years ago.
time. This is kind of it's just kind of a special movie for us because I have a funny story about when I was first shown this movie. It was on our second date after I think we went to the club, Howl at the Moon.
We went to the
right?
club.
We went to Howl.
How-
You know where Howl
Halloweeny.
is.
You know I do.
And we went there. We came back to our hotel and we watched about half of Fright Night in a pretty drunken stupor, and then woke up the next morning and finished it. So
Because at 3 a.m. we got Denny's delivery.
Nice.
This movie has been with me like
Denny's
for
in the
so
dark.
long.
when did you first watch this movie?
When I was like 12, and it immediately changed my life.
It kind of would. I mean,
I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's like a classic monster
It's
movie.
camp, but
It's
it's
camp.
it's got a lot of heart to it.
I
you
loved
know?
all the camp parts. One of my favorites is when I think he like calls him or something. He's like, I can see you. And then it's like quick shots at
Zooms
him,
in,
like
yeah,
across from
the focal
collar.
point, just like
Like,
whoosh.
The music is
like, that was
just
good.
It's
so great.
oh yeah, the whole scoring is just really great. So yeah, this movie's kind of a special one for us. And yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah. And the practical effects did not disappoint. You mentioned this was a practical effects movie, and
The transformation
yeah, the
scenes.
practical effects were fucking for 1985. Those were tight.
Yeah.
Those were really
Didn't you
cool
s-
to watch happen.
They were all done by one
They
guy.
were
right?
done. They were done by a team, but the main lead guy, Steve Johnson, was like 18 at the time, and he was like super innovative in the industry. So like he introduced like the hand being put back together was just like reverse wax melting.
I was gonna say,
Little
it
stuff
kind of
like
looked like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was so cool. I also love when the actors are trying to talk through their giant prosthetic mouths, and it's just so difficult.
When Amy first turns around and you have that teeth reveal, and it's just like, oh god, you
the
know.
giant mouth one.
Yeah,
oh my
really, like,
gosh.
They're
In that
all-
scene, she is wearing fake boobs, and she actually donated them for charity at a horror convention. It's a whole thing. Like
For how
that
much?
actress
Oh my
was
God.
completely transformed.
How much were those hits?
God, I don't know. I
Huh.
wish I had them in my collection.
Yeah, I love that. Like
You have a
every
collection.
actor is hamming it up as much as possible.
Yeah,
Like, I could say I have not seen a performance like Evil Ed in a long time. You just had no idea what this guy's deal was.
Yeah, and when he became a vampire, at first when he was changing, I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
but like once
And
it
he was
happened,
like-
I
he
was
was
just
like, oh,
kind
this
of
kinda
like,
dick, yeah.
oh yeah, this guy was meant to.
He just
this.
wants to be a dick
He's-
at
Yeah.
this point.
I really thought he was gonna get back up and
You
like.
got to give it up for old Roddy as
Roddy McDowell.
Peter Vincent. He really
He's like old Hollywood. He was in the original Planet of the Apes movies.
That was another
bunch of
character that like I had no idea where they were taking
Yeah,
him. I
I
thought
know.
he was gonna get murked.
I
in,
thought he
like,
was
every
gonna
scene
die.
he was
I
in.
thought Eddie was gonna kill him in that
Yeah.
moment. Yeah. And when he lived, that's when I was like, okay, I think I know the tone. This movie, this is more Gremlins than it is.
Yeah.
You know, true. Like the good guys get killed.
a little bit.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool though. Not my first Steel Con, but I did get to shake the man who played Jerry Dandridge as
You
well.
shook the man.
You are so attractive.
I feel like everyone in this movie I've met.
Chris
what was I gonna
Sarandon.
say? Chris
Sarandon
Sarandon.
is the guy who he played
The
Jack
vampire.
Skellington also. So it's
Oh, okay.
Kind of cool. Just
yeah.
get to shake his hand and be like, you were very cool back then.
Yeah, Billy Cole, the assistant
Not so much
guy,
now.
Still cool,
but-
but
the guy who's like a ghoul. He's actually from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Whoa.
And
He looks like somebody from Erie,
Yeah, he
Pennsylvania.
does. His
Boom.
hair.
the
Crazy.
Lost McCoyle brother.
Crazy
Erie is a
eyes.
place where there seemed like there'd be a lot of ghouls.
Yeah, but it did have a sequel and it did have a comic book series. And the comic book series is awesome because Ed comes back as like a womanizing rock star vampire.
Oh,
Nice.
I mean, yeah, I
Which
guess they
is-
did leave it in a way that he's still alive.
Yeah, and
They set up
straight
a
for some
sequel.
reason.
No, like I could definitely see how it would attain like cult status.
Yeah, should we talk about the gay allegory of it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
the neighbor trying to seduce him onto the dark side.
Tons of gay stuff.
And he
in
never
here.
gives in. He holds on to that fucking
That cross
cross
is
and he
clutched
never
to his-
lets
Yeah,
go.
right.
He says, get the fuck. I want it, but I don't.
I think that's a movie that was definitely helped by its performances.
Yeah.
Like it could have
Yeah.
just fallen flat and been just like an
Yeah,
adult Goosebumps
That
movie.
same movie with worse actors is a bad movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
With worse everything, you can make or break a movie. But
So did he fuck his girlfriend?
I think he just changed her. I don't think he had sex with her.
He bitted
need to
her,
get
but
her-
it's left.
I mean,
to
it
it's
seemed
left to be interpreted
interpretation.
as
They're naked to do that.
penetration.
Oh, then maybe I think he did then, yeah.
Yeah.
We actually did comment. I think that in a funny way, almost this movie is kind of similar to I think what It Follows. Tried to do with its the loss of innocence themes. It's
Right.
like it is a coming of age story, and it is kind of kind of like that.
It's another teen horror, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it literally starts with them about to have sex.
I definitely felt
then they don't.
the
And then they don't.
similarities between this and that one Disney Channel movie. Like,
My neighbor has a date, or my
Yeah.
mom has a date with a vampire.
I could definitely see how that movie would be directly inspired from this movie.
Oh,
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so many
'cause he almost fucked his
modern
mom.
I love that.
vampire movies really
and
do.
they kind of look
borrow.
similar, like the vampires.
I think everything borrows from this whole "my neighbor's a vampire, nobody believes me."
Disturbia starring Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
That wasn't about vampires, but
Very
it
similar
was directly
vibe.
inspired.
Neighbors up to shady stuff that no one will believe you.
Oh, yeah, that's the other allegory is that it's also about dealing with your neighbors.
Yeah.
Sometimes new neighbors.
Don't give shit neighbors.
Yeah, can really fucking suck. Your blood. And maybe your girlfriend.
And
Maybe.
your mom.
It's up to
Possibly your
interpretation.
mom.
So that was Fright Night.
So that was Fright
I'm
Night.
so glad you guys enjoyed it because we make a tradition out of watching that.
It's kind of a comedy. I think it's
Yeah,
like
it
a
was
good
fun.
middle
I think
ground.
we're doing a great job with like
escalating.
if how serious the last one is. I think we did a really good job of because now we're gonna watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh
which
yeah,
is
we have a nice
just
low
funny.
point
Yeah.
before we
Yeah.
ramp it back up into the
until we get
I'm not
really
saying that
scary.
it's super
yeah.
intense, but it's pretty good. It's pretty creepy and
Yeah.
spooky.
I guess we'll feel it.
Especially
All right.
if you haven't even seen
Yeah.
any trailers or anything.
I'm excited for
ready.
the next movie.
Well,
Been a
gang,
good-
we're
been a
gonna
good show
we're gonna
so
get
far.
ourselves situated. We're gonna watch this next
Wait.
movie.
Is that banjos I hear?
Here.
Oh, we're about to see some lovable hillbillies. Oh, Brayden, what's going on over there? He's having a zombie twitch.
Oh no, I can feel the
Oh
deliverance
no,
in
that's
my
a
heart.
regular Braden Twitch. All right, well,
Toodles.
Welcome back, everyone.
that was a fun freaking jaunt.
So Tucker and Dale versus Evil was my choice for tonight, and I thought it, changed the mood in the room a little from the last.
It's so
two.
fun.
It was
For
more
sure.
funny than it was. Actually, the thing I like about that movie is it's many things. It's a bunch of movies in one, which I said while we were watching it.
Like you said at the beginning, where it's basically like two different movies going on.
Right.
They kind of meet in the middle along the way.
The
to
perspective
become
shift.
a third
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
Because you have just the love story and like the two guys hanging out, Tucker and Dale, and then all the college kids are just in their own
Horror film.
Yeah.
Absolute horror.
and like how they film each of those different
Yeah, it's
stories.
different.
are
Perception changes
different.
are so
They're just
funny.
like, what the fuck the whole time?
And it just gets real serious tone whenever the college kids are like trying to see
We
what's
got your
going on.
friend.
Keep escalating the action with Chad being like the biggest antagonist of them all, just
Like,
ready to
Chad is just-
fuck up some hillbillies.
I think that's what I just thought was so smart about the movie the first time I saw it was like it was such a twist on on the genre.
Flips the genre on its head.
Yeah,
Like,
because
the creepy hillbillies are actually just normal dudes.
and
all
the
about
kids that are trying to
perception.
survive have like no reason to worry about trying to
Well,
survive.
they're like,
and-
it's fine. And he goes, we have to burn this place down, actually, like, immediately.
Or I love how they're always at the right angle, so that whatever's going on, it looks like the Tucker and Dale had done it.
Very farcical. Very kind of reminds you of an old.
The kid that's stuck in the
Play
wood
It's
chipper.
like working him in the wood
Yeah,
chipper.
they just see him from that angle as if he's
Sitcom
pulling him
esque.
down.
Their kills are really fun.
The kills are really fun. Yeah, definitely. I honestly find the way the main college kid, the most evil dude, went out kind of was pretty tame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Compared to how-
everyone
Disappointing
else.
for sure.
Like, you kind of wish he was impaled when he fell out of the window, but
The other ones were just so dramatic.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, he
god.
just kind of
impaled and stabbing themselves.
has an allergic reaction.
Yeah, it falls out a window.
The
But-
one
Yeah,
girl
one girl
took a
got a
whole
wood chipper to the face.
You
Or,
were-
weed
yeah.
whacker to the face.
weed whacker
Oh
to
my
the
gosh.
face.
Just grinded her
Jesus.
up. Help me.
So many good moments. Such a classic.
Tucker and Dale are so charming. They work so well
Great
Yeah.
together.
romance between these two, by the way.
Yeah, Tucker is number one wingman.
Yeah, those actors sell it.
Yeah, they sell it
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, we got to give it up for Alan Tudyk taking all the big hits.
For real
Stung by
though.
bees.
Really just getting assaulted.
Yeah, when he
He got his
chainsaws the
fingers
bee's
cut.
nest and he's chasing the kid.
That was my favorite thing. The first time I saw it, I laughed just as hard. Because I had forgotten. I'd forgotten all like what the movie was even about. I forgot that like that's even how it went, was that this college kid saw them as the murderers, and as soon as I saw the beehive, it all came flooding back. I started chuckling before he just comes out so like fucking crazy with the chainsaw. And, like, it just makes sense.
The
Everything
scene
that's
where they,
happening
like,
makes
first
sense.
see them too, and they drive by in the car, and he's just holding the beer like in the window. It's such like a presentation of how they frame them. Yeah.
Oh my god! And I like, it's kind of like dark how the first kid that gets impaled, he like sees the bee, he starts to like understand what was actually happening there just as he dies.
Like there wasn't just a bee in the woods anyway.
Yeah. It's-
Like, he's like, a bee. Oh, I
oh
get it.
fuck.
Yeah, and it
That's-
just gets more and more nonsensical with how they accidentally kill themselves.
Right.
The one guy just shoots himself in the face.
Yeah,
gotta
it
turn
kind of
the
goes from
safety
like
up.
believable to ridiculous.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like, we have a lot of kids to kill, actually. Let's start, like,
Pick
knocking
it
them
up a
off.
little.
Yeah, they essentially killed 3 at once at the end. Just like the girl gets her face chopped, the one dude catches on fire.
And then she's
And
just
now they
ready.
just blew
She's
them
like,
all
let
up.
me sit down. I'm going to have my last ciggy. Let's just, fuck it. I'm going to die anyway.
She truly does kind of kill herself there.
They tell her at the beginning, they're like, don't smoke those.
They're
could
gonna
die.
kill ya.
They're bad for you. And she goes, dying's bad for everyone, too, but I don't see anybody stop doing it.
What a fun
Uh,
time.
I have a little treat here if we want to get into this maybe before starting the final film.
Sure.
So we
Yeah.
can get into the final review,
Yeah. I like it.
in our witching hours here.
Absolutely.
But we have a horror trivia game, and I would like to just ask some questions and see how well you guys do.
That's kind of
Alright.
fitting to what we just watched,
Yeah.
being like a trivia.
Sounds fun. I love trivia.
Do you guys consider
They were playing
yourself
trivia.
like big horror people? Is this like a
Zero horror.
Yeah,
Oh,
very
okay.
little horror
Yeah.
knowledge
Boy.
really
These
at all.
kind of range. Some of these are definitely more
We're gonna try our best.
intricate than others, and some we'll just kind of play it by ear and see how many you guys get. All right. So first one to get them shouts it out. All right.
All right.
This is
All
fun,
right,
yeah.
Here we go. So, what horror franchise centers around a group of survivors who escape death and are killed one by one in freak accidents?
Final Destination.
That's correct, Braden.
I was trying
Very
to wrap my
quick.
head around that wording.
I almost,
there.
I was
back
gonna say the movie we just
Oh, yes,
watched.
yeah, I was like, Tucker and Dale
versus
versus
Evil.
Intentionally misleading.
Very, very nice. Very good one to start on.
Okay, question number 2.
This is fun.
What is the name of the demon group summoned by the puzzle box in the movie Hellraiser?
The Cenobites.
Correct.
Cenobites.
I have
I've
never seen Hellraiser.
Xenobites, not Xenobites.
The kinkiest horror movie.
Yeah, very BDSM, isn't it?
It's real, like, yeah.
A lot of leather.
A lot of leather. And needles.
What body part was the creature after in the movie Jeepers Creepers?
Eyes.
We'll call that one a tie.
Keeping score.
T-I.
Who
The
is
eyes.
also known as Mistress of the Dark?
Elvira.
That is correct.
Elvira who?
What's that from?
Elvira, Mistress of the
Elvira.
Dark.
Oh.
She's like a horror
A
host.
horror host.
With the boobs.
of,
She's right there.
movies.
Oh, okay.
You can see
Oh,
her on our
yes.
shelf if you come and visit our
She do
apartment.
have-
Don't come to our apartment.
She do have the boobs.
The
Are we
boobies.
playing to like, what are we doing? Like, what are we scoring? by?
Well, I don't know. You know a lot of these, so I
Just
want to see how
funsies.
many of these guys can get. Give them like two chances here to get it,
All of us have one, I
because
believe.
you will definitely know this one. In the 1982 movie Basket Case, what does the character Dwayne carry in his basket?
They just said they don't.
On
This is the
case.
most-
I just want to see if
A
anyone
brain.
knows. It is a brain, plus the rest of his twin.
Oh my god, good guess.
His twin.
I was gonna say something like a hand
I
mirror.
was
His
the
deformed
closest.
monstrous twin. That's a obscure one. Not obscure, but
Well,
I
Good
was
guess.
wrong. I was not wrong.
what 2012 slasher film is a story about an annual ritual sacrifice to appease the ancient ones?
Is that the
Village?
woods, the cabin in the woods?
Cabin in the Woods is correct. Another very meta horror film.
That's a good one though.
All right, let's see. What is the name of the evil company in the Resident Evil franchise?
Umbrella Corporation.
Ah, yep, you got it.
That one's going
You
to
got
Brain.
it first. He got it first. Oh fuck.
I want
I
to
just
find one
listened to
more
a
good one.
podcast
I want to
about
find one more really
Resident
good
Evil.
one to give you guys.
We're not doing half bad on.
I didn't.
not-
yeah,
not
I
too
thought I was
bad.
not gonna get any of them.
the Final Destination question, like, you had to wait till the very end of it.
Yeah.
Freak accidents.
I
Well, it's not Saw.
It was all freak accidents.
I live behind the log truck one daily.
That's just like a reasonable fear.
Real
It's
though.
just a
I'm always
reasonable
passing
fear.
those bitches a fucking thing. It's thanks to those fucking movies.
Okay. The movie Psycho was the first American film to feature what?
I answer.
Maybe like a shower murder scene.
Good guess. What is your answer?
A toilet flushing on film.
That is correct.
Oh, I heard that trivia question before.
They, like,
Yeah.
She like flushes money and it shows the money go down the toilet, and that was the very first
They've
time.
never.
According to
Shot
this
toilet
trivia
flushing
game,
before.
Psycho was the first movie to feature a toilet.
According to factual evidence.
There is some murder in the shower in Psycho though as well.
That is
correct?
right after the toilet flushes.
Gotcha.
And for a bonus point,
Okay.
what is the name of the cat in Pet Sematary?
Gerald.
Church.
It is Church.
Would have never guessed.
This game was rigged against you from the start.
But
You
we didn't do
realize.
half
Is it
bad.
good?
We didn't do half bad.
I would've got the
no.
Resident Evil.
No nerd shit in the dark.
die.
It's not
that was
hard.
the in the dark section because we didn't know any of that, and we did
Yeah, yeah.
not have bad.
There was your in the dark segment for the night.
Is this
Boom.
a
we go.
collective? Is Terrifier a collective in the dark thing?
I've
Oh,
never heard of
yes. We-
Terrifier.
we-
Yeah,
We're
Braden,
about to-
and, Braden and I
we're-
have never
We
seen
are
it.
also going to go into the dark now. We are dimming the lights.
Ooh.
We are
Lights will be
buttering the popcorn for our final feature.
Ooh,
Terrifier.
thank you.
Is there any kind of intro you want to give us about Terrifier? Or should we just say,
fuck it.
fuck it?
Fuck it. We'll see everybody at the end of the next movie, Terrifier. All right, we have just completed our fourth and final movie of the day.
And what did you guys think?
This was a very different one from any of the other ones that we've
Yeah,
watched.
very
this year.
gory.
Sure.
I found it kind of like our Kung Fu marathon, where we ended with like the most gruesome and
Crazy one,
graphic
yeah.
of the bunch. It's
Yeah, this
definitely
one
upped
was
it.
graphic.
Yeah, it had the most graphic scene of probably the whole.
What was
Yeah.
your
Thing.
favorite?
What was my favorite murder?
That's
Yes.
a reasonable question to ask, right?
Definitely.
I mean, I think the one that really sticks with you is the girl that gets
Yeah.
sawed in half
Yeah,
by
no,
her
that one was
vagina
already, like,
all
I
the
was
way
like,
through her
whoa.
body. Even when they just reveal her and like the way her legs are like shaking, like she's
Oh, yeah.
absolutely like freaked the fuck out as she should be in that moment. Yeah, that like hit me pretty hard.
Do you guys love Art or do you love him?
Is that his name, Art?
Art the
Art the
Clown.
Clown.
Art the Clown. Okay.
Yeah, he's great.
I didn't know that.
He was very expressive, which was super funny.
Yeah,
And creepy.
very
of course.
creepy.
Like I didn't know if he was gonna stay that kind of stern look that he had at the very start, but then he right at the restaurant, he got freaky. So I was like,
Yeah,
this
which I didn't like.
You didn't like?
I liked it,
Yeah,
but I
but
didn't like it.
it
It was
was
spooked. Yeah.
It's scary to see for sure.
Fun fact, the guy who played Art the Clown actually studied under the guy who played Robbie Rotten in Lazy Town.
Nice.
Wow.
Like he
I
studied
can
like
see
mimery
the
and
inspiration.
Yeah. Where
physicality.
that draws from.
Rest in peace, King.
Yeah, didn't he murder that girl on that show too?
Robbie Rotten.
Yeah,
I didn't follow
Yeah,
it
he
through
tries
the
to
last
murder them
seasons.
all the time.
all the time. It was this whole
Lazy
shit.
Town got dark.
Lazy Town got Crazy Town. Yeah, I mean that I was scared. Luckily, I don't know, there were moments of levity, I guess, where I could
He was
laugh.
trying to equal
I could
out
laugh
for
at
you.
it.
He was trying to bring the levity, but he couldn't ride a bike for shit. So
No,
They also I feel like once we see a girl get her body sawed in half, the rest of the deaths weren't as can't get worse than that. You know?
yeah,
yeah, you're like, oh, clunked with a hammer.
Yeah. Those
Okay.
were so
shot in
bad,
the
but I was
face,
like,
That guy's whole skull just obliterated.
just completely
Nice.
busted him up. Yeah,
Yeah.
There was a lot of really gruesome,
graphic.
And you want to, it accredited all to mostly practical effects too.
Oh yeah.
yeah, practical
When he's in
effects
the
were
morgue
great.
at the end and his eyeballs hanging out the back of his head.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
That's nuts.
The cinematography is very interesting. It's kind of got that.
Well, it all feels very claustrophobic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you feel like you're actually trapped in the back
setting
rooms
was very-
with this guy.
It also
spooky.
feels like there's a filter over it. Like there's some kind of
Yeah.
grainy, dark filter.
They
that
gave it the same
use.
kind of filter that I feel like the college kids had in Tucker. Like whenever it would go to them, it was just
Yeah.
that ambiance, but it was more serious in this. But
I also do like how the plot was essentially just we go in here and we're trapped with this killer clown. We call our friends to help us get out. We die before our friends show up. Our friends show up. The clown chases
Yeah.
them.
I did not think the first dark-haired girl was gonna die. Literally, probably halfway in, maybe a little
Yeah.
over halfway, just fucking dead.
She made it a long time.
She made
Got
it
a
a
bag
long
of
time.
tricks.
She tried to fight him,
She definitely put up the best fight.
and you just stumble up what the fuck was that lady that lived in the house's
Yeah,
deal?
what was that
I
about?
really
She
thought that
was
she
on her
was
own
going to be
thing.
the face lady.
Yeah,
'cause she was just
it's
crazy
starting
enough.
To feel like that.
Yeah.
Also,
Or a lot
But
of
then
darker
she
women.
just got wrecked too.
Why did she become I get her face was eaten off and that was traumatic and probably made her insane, but why did she kill that one lady?
Yeah, at the very start.
I feel like she got her face eaten off and it was really traumatic and she went out of
Yeah,
her
she just became insane.
That's
She
the only
saw
good
all of the
explanation.
massacres
Never
in
got to
that
do
building.
this.
Oh yeah, seeing your sister with that circus sign strapped to her face, just
Seeing
not
her
there.
friend cut in
the
half.
lady was also a bitch.
Yeah, that lady did make fun of her after the fact.
Worst
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah,
in the movie.
definitely.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So,
So holding out for
Wait.
Terrifier 2, right?
it's fun too. What were the favorite movies of the evening? I guess. Which movies did you enjoy the most?
I mean, it's always good. I love the fact that I've seen 3 more movies than I've ever seen today. What was my favorite? That's tough because I really did enjoy
They're so different.
each one of them in their own right.
And they are all different in genre, and I think even though they're all classed as horror films, it kind of shows there's a very broad spectrum to all that.
Same thing we found out when we did the Kung Fu Marathon.
Right.
I don't know. I guess Fright Night would probably be my favorite one we watched today.
Aw.
Yeah,
cool.
I think that one was probably it was fun yet interesting.
Right. I'd have to agree because I've seen both It Follows and Tucker and Dale versus Evil before. So I was just rewatching them this time. They were still funny and I did catch things that I missed and stuff. But Fright Night was the freshest experience
Yeah,
and one that you could have a lot of fun with.
it's a piece from its time
Not that I
too. It
didn't have
really
fun
felt very 80s.
With
So
Terrifier,
80s.
but
Yeah.
Terrifier is just a
I was just
You-
scared the whole
Just a
time.
lot, yeah.
You almost
I
feel
wouldn't
like,
watch it again. Not because I thought I didn't like it, because it was fucked up
It's
and
just a lie,
scary, and
yeah,
I
it's
don't
just
watch
not
that
just-
kind of shit usually.
It almost feels like a Fright Night should have been kind of a bigger cult film in its own right. I feel like you don't hear about it as much today
Right.
in the cultural.
As you do Lost Boys,
Definitely, yeah.
which I think Lost Boys is great, but I don't know. Fright Night came out
special
2
place.
years before it. Also,
Yeah, I would say out of all the movies we've watched, the one I genuinely found the scariest was the Terrifier.
Yeah, it just seemed like at any moment anything could happen.
That was
Whenever
the-
you make that a portion.
Yeah, that was the only movie that made me like look away from the screen sometimes because I was like, oh, I don't want to see what's about to happen.
I'm glad you liked it so much.
I think I'm the only one that hasn't seen any of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we
how are
watched
you
today.
feeling?
Miranda's terrified.
You went.
She
We took you on
can't
a
sleep
trip.
tonight.
Honestly, I expected the Terrifier to be a lot more scary, but it was just more gruesome, which is
gruesome.
always a comedy for me, honestly.
It's so fun to see what they do with effects. You're like, they were getting sloppy on
Right.
the set.
But honestly, they were probably, out of just the types of movies that they were, probably the 4 best.
It was fun. It was eclectic and it never got dull.
We saw a lot of
Right.
people
It's been
get
like 10
fucking
hours.
murdered today.
For sure. A lot of
Came up
murders.
with our own theme.
A lot of crazy performances.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of like standout performances. Honestly, like I think the guy that plays the clown in Terrifier was that's so interesting. I also think the main vampire guy in Fright Night, he like stands out as like a
Nailed it.
nailed it. Yeah.
I really love Chad. As far
Chad
as
and
the-
Tucker and
Yeah.
Chat, yeah, for
Just
sure.
unhinged behavior.
100.
Completely
That actor went
unhinged
110.
behavior.
And Paul.
That twist at the end.
and can we
How
give him
interesting.
Oh, yeah,
Metal
And a
Paul.
shout out to Paul. Paul got laid.
He's the
Paul
did
got
get
laid
laid.
by the end.
Paul got his dick wet.
Good
They
for
all had
Paul.
some good cuck
Not
moments.
once,
Yeah,
but twice.
Twice.
2 different people.
You're right. You're right.
He
by
also
the
had
end.
sex with a prostitute.
That's true. Good old Paul.
Did he?
We
But
don't-
did he,
Yeah,
though?
But did he though?
Well, I think that's what they're implying.
I think so too.
He was visiting women of the night
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
to pass it on.
Just like how she fucked some people on the boats.
Right.
Oh, that was. I still
But
don't.
did she?
But did
I
she?
still don't get that.
I mean, he could have been driving past the ladies of the night and just chickened out. Because
Yeah, and
I
then
feel
he's
like
That's a
"But I
very
want
Paul
her."
thing to do.
that is a very Paul
He
thing
Not
wanted
like
to
they're
lose
gonna
his
show us
virginity
the
to that
sex
one
scene with
person.
Paul.
Right.
So
Show us
bad.
the Paul cut.
or
Uncut.
uncut.
Thank you guys for having us on tonight.
Thank
and,
you for
coming out to
Thank
Thank you
you
for
for
hosting
hosting
us.
us. Yeah.
It was. I'm glad we were able to do all
We're
this.
happy to be your horror host.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe. You got to be on the show again, but definitely got to do another for next year, maybe the Halloween episode.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
see how this edits, and we'll figure it out and do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely.
Do you guys got anything you want to leave off with for the show?
I didn't think of an ending quote.
No. It's your show. I mean,
Yeah, I usually just end it with follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, YouTube.
would you say that it follows you on Spotify?
It follows us on Spotify. We also have an Instagram. All right.
I feel
Well
like
then.
we got to end it on a joke or something.
Well, I
Smash
started-
that like button. Subscribe. Ring that bell.
Good
YouTube
night.
has been unsubscribing people. I don't know why. I don't know. That's what they say at the beginning of the videos. So
Oh,
click it
yeah.
again.
Oh,
So you have to subscribe to
keep subscribing. Just
Keep
don't stop. Tell your
subscribing.
friends to subscribe. We're gonna have
Different
T-shirts
platform.
coming out soon.
Different platform.
I don't know. We'll keep you posted on anything that's new. But good night, sleep tight, and don't let the shit bugs bite.